Have you ever noticed that the richest women in the world wear the same colors all the time? It's not boredom, it's not lack of creativity. It's a code, a silent status signal that transforms any ordinary woman into someone who appears to have hidden wealth. And the best part? You can do this now with pieces you already have in your closet. I'm Carol, and if you haven't subscribed to Lucrative Elegance yet, hit that button now, turn on notifications, and leave a like if you finally want to understand how to transform your elegance into something lucrative. Because I'm going to teach you the secrets that make a woman be treated completely differently just by the way she dresses. So let me explain this code to you. Because while most women wake up in the morning waging war against their own closet, trying to match that printed blouse with that skirt that goes with everything, but actually doesn't go with anything, the truly rich have already solved this problem decades ago. Their answer is so simple, it's almost offensive. One color from head to toe. But here's the detail that separates those who understand the game from those who are just watching. It's not about having money, it's about looking like you never had to think about it. Carolina Herrera lives in white and red, always. Victoria Beckham practically has a serious relationship with gray, black, and white. And don't tell me it's because they don't have access to other colors. They have access to everything. But they chose strategic simplicity. Because when you remove the distraction of color, what remains is pure visual architecture. People stop looking at the clothes and start looking at you, at your posture, at the way you occupy space, and suddenly you're no longer a woman wearing clothes. You are elegance itself walking. But let's be brutally honest here. Most women have absolute terror of wearing the same color on top and bottom. They think they'll look like hotel employees or that they forgot to finish the look. So they fill the outfit with different colors, prints competing with each other, loud accessories, all in a desperate attempt to seem well-dressed. When you mix flowers with polka dots, animal print with stripes, it looks like you were kidnapped by an unruly hanger and left at the wrong store's door. But here's the truth nobody has the courage to tell you. The more you try, the less elegant you look. And the less you try, strategically, the more expensive you become. Truly rich women discovered this so long ago that it's already become second nature to them. They don't wake up thinking, what am I going to wear today? They open the closet, grab pieces of the same color, put them on, and get on with their day. Because their time is too precious to be wasted on fashion dilemmas. And that, dear friend, is what makes you look like a millionaire. The appearance that you have infinitely more important things to think about than color coordination. Now tell me something. Have you ever noticed that when you see someone all in black, all in navy, all in caramel, you automatically assume that person has money? Even if the pieces are from fast fashion? It's automatic. Our brain has literally been conditioned to associate monochromatic with sophistication, with intentional curation, with this woman didn't waste 45 minutes in front of the mirror because she has an empire to build. And that's exactly the psychological game you need to learn to play if you want to be perceived completely differently. Because it doesn't matter if you have the best character in the world, are the most competent professional in your field, have 3 diplomas hanging on the wall. If when you walk into a room, people look at you and think, she dresses in the dark, poor thing. Cruel? Absolutely. Unfair? Without a doubt. Reality? Unfortunately, yes. And you can spend the next 10 years complaining about this reality. Or you can use the next 10 minutes learning to use it in your favor. But here comes the part that will make you jump out of your chair. Creating a monochromatic look is, by far, the easiest way to look like a millionaire without having to sell a kidney. You don't need designer pieces with screaming logos. You don't need a closet the size of an apartment. You just need to understand the visual mathematics of money. And that mathematics is absurdly simple. Same color on top and bottom. Fabrics that don't look like dish towels, fit that doesn't fight with your body, and an attitude of someone who's not asking permission to be where they are. You know who's a master at this? Victoria Beckham herself, whom I already mentioned. She practically built an entire career on gray, black, and white. And it's not because she can't buy clothes in all the colors of the rainbow. It's because she understood something that most women take decades to discover. When you create a vertical column of uninterrupted color, you instantly look taller, slimmer, more elongated, and more expensive. It's basic geometry applied to social psychology. But there's a gigantic problem. Most women think monochromatic means boring, monotonous, without personality. So they avoid it like it's a contagious disease. They think they need a zebra print here, an animal print there. A loud, colorful scarf over there, earrings that look like chandeliers, a necklace that weighs more than a dog chain. And when you look at the whole ensemble, it looks like 5 different people got dressed in the dark, fought about who was going to wear what, and then decided to live in the same body just to annoy you. Discreet rich women, and when I say discreet, I'm not talking about shy or without personality. I'm talking about strategically intelligent. They know that true wealth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to exist, occupying space naturally. And a monochromatic look is the physical manifestation of this concept. It's you saying, without opening your mouth, I don't need frills because I already know exactly what my value is, and if you can't see it, that's your problem, not mine. Now, before you interrupt me saying, but Carol, I don't have an entire closet full of pieces in the same color, I can't do this, let me stop you now. You probably have more than you think. That black pants you wear for absolutely everything? Combine it with a black blouse that's been forgotten, wrinkled at the back of the closet since 2019. That navy blazer you only take off the hanger when you have an important meeting? Throw it on top of navy pants or even dark jeans. Done. You just created a look that cost exactly $0 new and made you look like you have a personal stylist named Philippe who charges $500 an hour. But here's the secret that really separates those who just look rich from those who truly understand the complete code. It doesn't have to be exactly, mathematically, the same color. It can be tone on tone. It can be completely different textures in the same color family. It can be a darker navy on top and a more faded navy on bottom. The important thing is to create that vertical column of color that isn't brutally interrupted by a visual contrast that makes the eye of whoever's looking at you stumble midway. Because when someone's gaze travels your body from top to bottom without obstacles, without stumbling, without what's happening here, that person automatically appears more elongated, more harmonious, more elegant, and more valuable. And you know what's absolutely brilliant about all this? The people around you won't be able to put their finger on it and explain exactly why you look so different. They'll just know, with that uncomfortable certainty they can't rationalize, that you look better. More put together, more elegant. More, did she inherit a fortune from her rich aunt who lived in Paris and nobody had the decency to tell me? And while they're wasting time trying to decipher the mystery, you're already 3 steps ahead, peacefully enjoying the preferential treatment that comes absolutely automatically when you dress like someone who matters, someone who deserves attention, someone who clearly knows what they're doing. But let me tell you a story that happened to me a few weeks ago. I was at an event. Nothing extraordinary. All dressed in caramel. Caramel pants I bought on sale. Caramel blouse that was thrown in the closet. Basic nude shoes I've had for years. Literally nothing special. No piece cost more than $50. But a woman who clearly had money, Hermes bag, Cartier watch, the complete package, came up to me, stopped me in the middle of the event and said, "You always dress so incredibly well. I need to know where you buy your clothes. Do you have a stylist?" And I almost laughed in her face because those pants had literally cost $40 in a pathetic end-of-season sale. But she wasn't seeing the price tag. She was seeing the visual intention, the apparent curation, the obvious fact that I hadn't woken up that specific morning and thrown any random thing on my body, hoping the universe would have mercy on me. That, my dear friend, is what I call pure social currency. When you dress in a way that genuinely makes people want to approach you and ask about your choices, you've created social value from nothing. And this invisible but extremely powerful value translates into real opportunities, into doors that mysteriously open, into conversations that start without you having to force them, into, "Oh, you absolutely need to meet so-and-so. You two have everything in common just because someone decided based purely on your appearance that you belong to the same social level as this mysterious so-and-so." And look, I know exactly what some of you are thinking now. But Carol, this is superficial. This is judging by appearance. This goes against everything I was taught about being authentic and true. And you know what I say? You're absolutely right. It is superficial. It is judging by the cover. It's everything we were told not to do. But you know what else is superficial, and people do it all the time, whether they want to admit it or not? Judging a book by its cover. Judging by clothes may be superficial, yes, but it's like the cover of a rare book. Those who understand value recognize it before even opening it. And this happens every day, in every interaction, whether you believe it or not. So you have 2 very clear options in front of you. You can completely ignore this uncomfortable reality, pretend it doesn't exist, and continue being consistently underestimated in all areas of your life. Or you can swallow your pride, admit the game exists, learn the rules, and finally start being seen, treated, and respected for what you really are and what you're really worth. Now, since we're talking seriously about using appearance strategically, I need to tell you about my course, Look Rich Without Spending Much. Because one thing is for me to sit here and tell you that you need to dress monochromatically to look like a millionaire. Something completely different, infinitely more valuable, is for me to teach you the exact step-by-step of how to put together these looks without looking like you're dressed up for Halloween. How to choose exactly which colors work specifically for your skin tone and not for the Instagram models. How to combine different textures without looking like you got dressed in the dark during a blackout. How to develop that natural, almost bored attitude of I've always known how to dress, this isn't effort for me, that makes all the screaming difference between looking rich and looking like you're trying desperately too hard and everyone can see the effort. In the course, I literally teach you all the visual, behavioral, and social codes that truly rich women use every day without even realizing it. And it's not just about clothes hanging in the closet. It's about how you enter a room as if you own the place. How you order a coffee without looking like you're asking permission to exist. How you sit without collapsing in the chair. How you gesture without looking like you're swatting invisible mosquitoes. Because, dear friend, you can be wearing Chanel from head to toe. You can have spent 3 months' salary on clothes. But if you don't know how to carry these pieces naturally, you'll forever look like you stole someone more important's wardrobe and are praying nobody notices the crime. This course is for you who are tired, exhausted of being invisible. Of walking into places and being treated like just another one, of speaking and feeling like nobody's really taking you seriously, of having competence, intelligence, real value, but being consistently ignored because your appearance is screaming, "Don't take me seriously," before you even open your mouth. The link is in the description right below. And if you really want to change the way the whole world sees and treats you, you know what to do. The course will literally transform not only your wardrobe, but your entire presence in the world. Going back to monochromatic, because there's still a lot of important stuff you need to know. There's one crucial thing I need to warn you about before you run off to put together looks. Not every color works the same way. Black, navy, and caramel are the most universally democratic colors to create this powerful effect of, obviously, I have money. Gray also enters this golden list. Total white works wonderfully well, but, and this is a huge but, you need to be extremely careful because white shows absolutely everything. Literally everything. A microscopic coffee stain, a minimally unwanted transparency, a poorly done seam, and there goes all your carefully built visual credibility completely. So if you're really going to bet on total white, you need to make absolutely sure that the fabric is thick enough, opaque enough, well sewn enough, not to reveal more than you consciously chose to reveal. Because there's nothing, but literally nothing, that destroys a look faster than unintentional transparency. You might be feeling like Bianca Jagger, but everyone's seeing your kitten print panties. Military green, earthy tones like terracotta and chocolate, beige in all its sophisticated variations, are also absolutely excellent choices. But, and pay close attention to this, extreme caution with very vibrant and loud colors. A complete monochromatic look in hot pink might work if you're going to a 6-year-old's birthday party or an 80s-themed event. For normal professional or social day-to-day, you'll look like you're desperately trying to get attention any way possible. And remember what I said at the beginning? Truly rich women don't scream to be noticed. They whisper with so much confidence that everyone automatically stops to listen. Now, let me tell you a secret that radically and completely changed the way I put together absolutely all my looks. When you're creating a monochromatic look, texture instantly becomes your best friend, your most powerful ally. You can technically be wearing the exact same color in all pieces, but if you strategically mix a fluffy knit with smooth and shiny silk, or structured cotton with soft suede, or any combination of contrasting textures, you create real visual depth. You create genuine interest without needing to add even one more single color. It's exactly like those sophisticated chocolate cakes that are visually completely brown from top to bottom. But when you cut them, you see different layers, ganache, mousse, cake, and you immediately know that there's hidden complexity, there's technique, there's intention, even though it looks deceptively simple visually. Women who really deeply understand fashion do this all the time, every day. They consciously take 3 subtly different tones of the same beige, one more pinkish, one more yellowish, one more grayish, and create a look that genuinely looks like it cost an entire month's salary at a Parisian boutique. But in reality, in harsh reality, it can absolutely all be basic pieces bought on sale. The real magic, the real trick you need to master is in deeply understanding that monochromatic definitely doesn't mean monotonous, boring, dull. It means strategic, intentional, thoughtful. And here's fascinating information you probably didn't know, and that will completely change the way you see this subject. Serious scientific studies of visual psychology consistently show that when someone is wearing a single color from head to toe, our primitive brain automatically processes that person as more trustworthy, more competent, more organized, more worthy of respect. It's not my personal opinion. It's not guesswork. It's documented science with real data. Because consistent visual uniformity strongly suggests mental organization. It suggests control. It suggests that this specific person has total mastery over their own life. And unconsciously, without even realizing it, we all naturally want to be near, want to associate ourselves with people who genuinely seem to have absolute control over their own lives. That's exactly, word for word, what happened with Steve Jobs and his famous personal uniform of black turtleneck and jeans. He wasn't being lazy or sloppy or uncreative. He was being absolutely brilliant in terms of image strategy. Because every time he appeared in public, you weren't distracted thinking about his clothes, analyzing his fashion choices. You thought directly and immediately about his revolutionary ideas. And that's precisely what an impeccably well-executed monochromatic look does for you as a woman. It completely removes the superficial visual distraction and puts all the focus exactly where it should have been from the beginning. On your competence, on your intelligence, on you as a complete person. But there's one absolutely crucial, decisive detail that countless women get terribly wrong every day. They naively think that just because they're technically wearing everything in the same color, they can completely relax, lower their guard on the real quality of the pieces. Grotesque mistake. Very, very wrong. A monochromatic look is relentless, absolutely merciless with truly bad fabrics. That cheap polyester blouse that seemed okay, it'll do when you combined it with completely different colored pants that distracted the eye. In brutal monochromatic, it will look exactly like what it is. A poorly sewn plastic bag. So if you're really going to invest money in something specific, strategically invest in solid basic pieces of honest and decent fabrics, in the strategic colors you demonstrably use most in everyday life. And no, you definitely don't need 50 different pieces in each color. You realistically need only 5 really good, well-made pieces in each truly strategic color of your personal wardrobe. Excellent black pants that fit perfectly. A black blouse in decent fabric that falls well on your specific body. A structured black blazer that makes you instantly look like you just came from an extremely important meeting, even though you're actually coming directly from the supermarket with shopping bags. Done, finished. You have literally infinite possible monochromatic combinations just with these smart basic pieces. And here's another critical observation I've been making consistently for years. Consciously notice next time you watch a series or film specifically about rich, powerful people. Pay real attention to what they strategically wear in scenes where directors and costume designers want to visually pass the clear message of absolute power and unquestionable sophistication. Monochromatic. Always, without fail. Succession? Practically a monochromatic parade in every scene. Billions? Dominant monochromatic. The Morning Show? Sophisticated monochromatic. Because professional costume designers know precisely what they're doing with each choice. They're consciously using pure visual language to tell you without words, this person is important, is powerful, deserves respect, without needing a single word of dialogue. So when you finally strategically apply this in your real everyday life, you're using exactly the same powerful visual language that Hollywood uses. You're saying silently but clearly, I know exactly how the game works, I understand the rules, I know how to play, and people consciously or completely unconsciously will inevitably treat you according to this message. It's not dirty manipulation, it's intelligent strategic communication. It's you finally stopping visually self-sabotaging every day. But there's one last crucial point I absolutely need to address before finishing, because I know perfectly well there's a woman out there thinking exactly this now. But Carol, I genuinely like vibrant colors. I don't want to spend the rest of my life looking like I'm in permanent mourning, going to a funeral every day. And look, I completely understand. I also passionately love pink, even knowing rationally that it infantilizes. But here's the liberating truth. You definitely don't need to forever abandon all your favorite colors and become a hostage to eternal black. You just need to be infinitely more strategic, more conscious about exactly when you choose to wear them. Save your vibrant colored pieces for genuinely social and light moments, for relaxed weekends, for when you intentionally want to pass a more accessible, friendlier vibe, more, you can come up and talk to me. But for important professional meetings where a lot is at stake, for corporate events where you need to be taken seriously, for job interviews, for any specific situation where you simply cannot afford the dangerous luxury of being underestimated or not taken seriously, monochromatic, always, without exception. Because at the end of the day, when you strip away all the layers of conversation, dressing truly well isn't about following blind and rigid rules that someone invented. It's about deeply, intellectually understanding the real and measurable impact that your visual choices have directly on the way you're immediately perceived by other people. And then using this powerful knowledge consciously, strategically, to actively create the real opportunities you genuinely deserve. You can sincerely find it deeply unfair that people judge. I do too. But the hard truth is, they judge anyway, every day. And while you're there wasting energy uselessly fighting against this immutable reality, other smarter women are using exactly it to consistently move up in life. So the final question, the only one that really matters is, do you want to be right and indignant? Or do you want to be exactly where you know you deserve to be? Oh, and before I completely forget, if all this content is really making deep sense to you, if you're seeing genuine value in what I share here every week, strongly consider becoming an official sponsor of the channel through the Members Club. Values start affordably at just $4.99 monthly. Just click on the Become a Member button that appears. This concretely helps me continue producing content exactly like this, that goes completely against the popular tide of wear what you want and be yourself, and gives you the naked, raw, and sometimes uncomfortable truth about how the real world really works when nobody's watching. So that's exactly it. The secret of discreet rich women isn't so secret, so hidden when you know where to look. It's just that practically nobody has the real courage to speak openly about it because everyone desperately wants to seem authentic and true and real. But you know what's really genuinely authentic in the end? Honestly recognizing that you live in society with other people and that your visual choices have real and measurable consequences, and that you can consciously use these consequences completely in your favor. Now you finally know. What you're going to do exactly with this powerful information is completely up to you.